This video started out as a traffic stop and ended with something else. A man angry because he either didn't like me recording the police or he didn't like me recording his property. Which I wasn't really even doing, and you can see by the traffic stop. I believe if you actually care to understand, you'll need to listen to the narration. If you don't listen, that's fine. But if you make stupid comments based upon your lack of listening, or stupid comments contrary to what's included in the narration, then you're done here. Your call, I'll make mine. Here's the deal. There are multiple ways to look at this. I could comment about this the same way I would a government agent, police officer, etc., but he's not a government agent. He's not a police officer. He's not a politician. He's none of those things, at least to my knowledge. He doesn't have the authority, per law, per statute, to kidnap me, nor you, and put us behind bars. He can't take my property. He can't tell me I no longer have the right to say what I want under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution's Bill of Rights, nor tell me that I can't have certain possessions. He doesn't have the governmental authority to attempt to deny me my Second Amendment rights. He doesn't have the right to steal my nor your money. He won't like this comment, and being honest, I don't give a shit what he likes. But he and I, and most of you, are all essentially the same, and on the same boat, and at the same level when it comes to an out-of-control and unaccountable government and or police versus private citizens. He is a private citizen, so no, in my opinion, he doesn't deserve the same critique that government does. I don't care that he got upset. I care about the reasons why he got upset. I care about the actual laws and rights, not only mine, but his, to be on public property, document government officials in the course of their duties, push for government accountability, etc. I don't care that he insulted me. What the fuck ever, dude. I support his right to do so under the First Amendment. I'd be a hypocrite if I said he can't do so, and he can't say what he wants. I just think his anger was based on a lack of knowledge, and even worse, a lack of understanding rights. I also don't think his attempt to cancel my rights goes very well with that U.S. flag that he has waving high and proud in his yard, fought for and defended by many, some of whom have died, to protect the same rights I exercised that he was angry about. Whether he thought I was on his property, or that I was purposely recording his house and his property, or that he doesn't like my right to document police and push for more accountability, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that too many people in this country today wave the flag and then sit down and shut up or ignore and even show outright hatred for the very same freedoms that flag represents. If you watch the traffic stop, I had no fucking interest in this guy's home, his car, and certainly not in him nor his family. I take the same approach with his property and family I do with anyone else's. I attempt to not record them unless they are part of the scene being contacted by law enforcement or government in general. I would have done what I always do and edit out as much of what was not necessary nor relevant to the video and subject matter of police and government accountability as possible. When he came out of his house yelling, when I was already about to leave, he made himself and his wife the subject of the video by coming out, and instead of simply stating his concerns in a calm, respectful manner, and instead of simply asking what was going on if he didn't already know, he thought he would bully, intimidate, hurl insults, possible threats, and attempt to instill fear. As a matter of fact, why wouldn't he have just come out when the police were there? There were 2 uniformed officers there. He could have come out, if that was his property and he thought it was, he could have come out and told me in front of them, or asked them to remove me, or asked them to investigate. And then they could have told him then, and it could have saved a whole bunch of trouble. But the fact is, I'm not scared. I'm certainly not scared to stand up for what I believe in. If I have to fight and defend what I believe in, I'll do so. Well, actually, there is one thing I'm really, really scared of, and I scare easily every time I think about it. I'm scared of people in this country losing their rights due to ignorance and brainwashing and becoming more like sheep and loyal subjects of the crown and a totalitarian dictator sitting in the ivory castle. I'm not the one that called 911. I'm not the one hurling insults. I had no desire to call nor involve the government, especially the police. He is the one on the phone yelling. Once he made the call, I felt compelled to wait for the police to arrive. At one point in time, you can hear him tell me he doesn't want me protesting there. I guess you could call it protesting, in a way, but I'd refer to it more as documenting for accountability's sake. But I guess in a way, I am protesting a lack of accountability. So if that's how he wants to term it, that's up to him. I was already ready to go. I was ready to leave when he came out yelling, so I went to the same location I was while recording the traffic stop with 2 uniformed officers there, and I attempted to hear his complaints, and I attempted to educate him about the rights that he flies the U.S. flag in his yard to represent, but his anger and his lack of self-control prevented any reasonable and cordial dialogue. As far as his kids go, Even though he himself made them the subject of the video, his kids didn't have a choice in the matter. And as such, I'll do as I would do any other time and attempt to remove them from the video as much as humanly possible. I consider that fair play and respectful of them. What he doesn't understand, apparently, is that it isn't about me versus him. It's about citizen versus loss of rights. It's about government accountability. Unfortunately, he and I will never get to have that conversation because he has shown himself to be incapable of having a cordial dialogue, polite and peaceful, which I would have preferred, because those conversations are the only ones that ever solve anything, educate anyone, or focus the energy needed to save a country and protect rights. The traffic stop became a secondary point to the video, and as such it is heavily edited and muted, and mainly shown just to allow observation of the location I stood, the lack of property damage, nor trespassing by myself, as well as the direction that my camera was facing. Let me say this again. I'm done with the idiots on here. If you've got a stupid comment, nothing useful nor relevant to contribute, and you have no ability to have a logical, peaceful, cordial, and possibly interesting conversation, I'm just insta-dismissing your stupid fucking ass. I don't need you here. I don't want you here. I won't have you here. I don't ask for your donations. I don't monetize my videos. I don't care about subscriber numbers. Just thumbs down the video, shut the fuck up, and move along now. The people who make comical comments to be funny and have a laugh are a completely different story, and I believe they understand the difference and they know who they are. On to the video. Here's the street sign, installed by the city or state or county or whomever that I was standing out by on the public easement. I'm going to fast forward through the stop, and you can slow it down if you want to see where I'm facing my camera and what I'm actually doing. That's your choice, but even at 4 or 6 times speed, you should be able to tell what's going on. This is Officer Garrison. He came over just to be polite, cordial, and professional while still maintaining a view of the traffic stop, and I don't have any problem with that. If you want true accountability, then you have to keep the lines of communication open. And if an officer's being professional, polite, and friendly, and I know cop haters are going to hate this, then I'm not going to shit on him for it. I'm not going to treat him like a fucking leper, because I wouldn't want that done to me. He didn't ask for my ID. He didn't tell me I couldn't do what I was doing. He came over, just said hello, how's it going, and then did what he was supposed to do. Also, I think he handled the whole situation when he was one of the officers that returned to the scene when the guy called them about me standing on a public location recording them. I thought Officer Garrison did a great job, and I'll thank him for all of that. Moving on.
Good. I wasn't on your property. I wasn't on your property. That's not your property. I wasn't on your property. I wasn't on your property. Wasn't on your property. Okay, I'm gonna go to the public property. I'm gonna stand on public property. I'm not coming to you. I wasn't on your property. This is a public pole.
There's no sidewalk, bud. It's on the other side of the street.
But this is public right here.
It's my yard. I maintain it. It's mine.
This is public. It's a street sign. It's maintained by the city, ma'am. This is a street sign. Okay, this is a street sign.
Yep. He's got a gun on his side. And he's got some kind of tattoo on his chest.
yeah.
I don't know who this is.
I'm not a threat to you. I'll record the cops because of the issues that are going on.
Now, black shorts, black tank top. Yep. He's in my yard and I want him gone.
I'm not in your yard.
He's got a gun on his
This is public property right here.
That's my yard.
This is public property right here, ma'am.
I don't know.
Sir, this is public property. This is public property right here.
That tree is my yard.
I'm not in your tree. I'm here at the pole. Do you see? No, I'll wait for the police since he called him. I'm going to wait for the police since you already called him. I'll wait for the cops since you already called him.
You need to get out of my yard.
I'm not in your yard, sir. This is public property.
No, it's not.
This is a public sign managed by the city. That makes it public property right here.
It's not. There's no sidewalk there. It's my yard.
It doesn't matter if there's a sidewalk, there's a walk.
There is no sidewalk.
It comes from the center of the road out a certain degree. That's why the city puts signs right here. I'm not on your property. I'm waiting for the cops since you already called them, so they can see where I'm standing outside the public sign. The same place I was standing when they were here. I'm a peaceful person. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to the cops.
Protest somewhere else. My yard's not a
I'm not
protest.
protesting.
I don't give a damn about your protest.
I'm not protesting.
Get the hell away from me.
I'm not on your yard, sir.
You ain't got no right to come over here videotaping me on my property.
I'm not videotaping you. I wasn't until you made it up your point. You weren't even out here when they were here.
To come back over here.
You started yelling threats at me.
Nobody threatened you.
Yes, you did.
No, he never did.
Yes, he did. I got it on camera. I got it on camera. So here's what happened. You saw me, you saw this is where I was standing the whole time when you were here. Outside this line. This is city property. This is not their property. This sign right here is maintained and owned and put in by the city. He
like
get
6 feet off the road.
right, exactly. Okay, but that's not what he was yelling. So he starts yelling and he's making these threats. Don't you ever come back over here? No, don't record this. All this. So I come back over to ask him what he's saying. He's making all his comments, whatever he wants to say, and he keeps yelling, this is on their property. Somebody needs to advise them this is not their property. And I can stand here. He made it, I wasn't even recording them until he made himself a video.
Well, at first, I think he's mad because you was recording us, but that doesn't bother us. So,
Well, but that's his problem. I have a right to record you. Somebody needs to educate him. Okay? Because you know what? If you're out here doing your job and I'm standing on public property, I have every right to do that.
absolutely.
Well, he needs to be let know that and let them know this is not their property.
We will.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
It's like we got a third pulling up.
I think I caught her waving to me here. That's the spirit, ma'am. Hi yourself. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening.
Get a goddamn light, you piece of shit.
Whatever you say, sir. See, if he'd have talked to me calmly, if they'd have talked to me calmly, there wouldn't have been an issue. If he'd have come over and said, hey, I just want to talk to you,
And 9 out of 10 times, that's an issue.
that's it. That's all that would have happened. I would have talked to him. I wouldn't have made a video, but he wants to come out screaming that I can't do what I'm lawfully allowed to do. And this is the problem with sheep in this country who don't know their rights. Whether he doesn't like me recording you or whether he doesn't like me recording near his house, I wasn't even looking at his house. He made him and his house the focus of the video. He told me I'm out here protesting. I don't think he understands what protesting is.
9 out of 10 calls we go to, if that's what people would do, we wouldn't even get called.
I mean, look, not once did I go past this sign because I understand you have, hey, look, you got another one coming. Look, man, this could have been dealt with easy if he'd have just walked over and said, hey, dude, I just want to talk to you about what's going on. I would have gladly explained to him what I do. And I would have gladly probably edited out anything that could have gone up into their yard. But when he starts screaming threats and making all these other comments, then, you know, like I said, he makes himself...
Stand over here, man. These people are getting close.
Yeah, they are kind of getting close. But I'm afraid to get too far in, then they'll start screaming I'm on their property again.
They're going in, so we're going to have no more problems here, right?
I'm not. You're gonna have to talk to them about that, sir.
They're done. They're going in.
Okay, but you're
Well,
asking
let's
me.
hear what
You're
they
asking
say.
me like I initiated the issue
No,
and
I'm
I
not
didn't.
saying that. I'm not saying that. I heard him yelling when we left.
See, here's the problem. Instead of screaming across the road threats like he did,
I wasn't here. I don't know what
He
it is.
was screaming across.
he was.
I wasn't
Okay, we know you weren't. I'm not saying you were. But instead of doing that, had he come out and said, hey, I just want to talk to you about what's going on, I could have explained to him that at no time was I focusing on their house, even though I can lawfully do that. At no time was I concerned with recording them in any way. I was concerned with recording him and you, who were at a traffic stop, which I can lawfully do, on public property up to this sign, and at no time was I on their property. But see, the problem is people start running out and start yelling threats, and instead of asking what's going on. And they're not advised because they're sheep and they don't know what their rights are. So.
Okay. Are we good? Are we all leaving? Yep, he's inside. Everybody's inside. We're all...
Okay, I need names and badge numbers of everybody here so I can do open records requests for all body cam. I'm sorry?
Garrison 50, 50.
37 Steiner. 59 Casper.
Shehorn 55.
29 Douglas. Madden 19.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Madden 19. All right, thank you very much. You guys have a good evening.
Quick note here. I didn't hear anybody wish me to have a good evening. Press 1 if you think that's because some of them wish that I didn't have a good evening. Press 2 if you think that's because at least 1 or 2 of them wanted to arrest me. Press 3 if you think they just wanted to get the fuck out of there and go somewhere else and sit down. Final comments. I believe Officer Garrison handled everything amazingly. He upheld my rights and responded as a public servant who understands and respects what is right and just. You can hate cops all you want, but he deserves commendation for showing professionalism and willingness to ensure everyone knows the law, and I have no doubt had I been on their property or doing something else wrong, he would have let me know as well. Regarding threats, what I heard were comments such as, "Don't come here again." To me, that's a threat. Maybe it's just my interpretation. But if I say to you, "Don't come here again," I'm saying to you there is an underlying unspoken response from me that will occur if you do what I said not to do again. And I take that as a threat. When he made that comment, "Don't come here again," basically what he was saying was, quote, "Don't come here on public property, exercising your right to document public officials in the course of their duty, or else." He just didn't say the words "or else." But in the end, I don't care about his threats. I care that more people might learn about rights and laws, and that neither one of us broke any laws that night. No one was injured, and everyone went home safely. Oh, and we both exercised our First Amendment rights. America.
America, fuck yeah! America, fuck yeah! Freedom is the only way, yeah! America, fuck yeah! So lick my butt and suck on my balls.
If you're out here doing your job and I'm standing on public property, I have every right to do that.
Absolutely.